On his 100th birthday, a letter to Jimmy Carter. Dear President Carter, I was in my second quarter of college when you returned to Plains, Georgia in January 1981. Ronald Reagan had just been inaugurated, and you came back to your hometown soundly defeated. You woke after the election. You later wrote to an altogether new, unwanted, and potentially empty life. All of 18 at the time, I felt some of the same things. I was raised in a conservative family, but my religious beliefs and political values had become very different from my parents and from those of almost everyone else I knew. To have arrived at a fundamentally different understanding of the world, with diametrically opposed views about what this country should be and what role religion and government should play in it, deeply unsettled me. I had not left home, but I was a stranger in a strange land. No one but a teenager in the midst of a convulsive shift in worldviews would call us two peas in a pod, Mr. Carter, but with the hubris of youth, I felt that we were, you in Georgia and me in Alabama, at home but belonging nowhere. Sometimes I still feel that way. But when I think about the childhood you describe in your memoir, An Hour Before Daylight, I know that this is our homeland as much as anyone's. I know that it's possible to see our world clearly and to love it anyway. You're a child of Jim Crow South who grew up on a farm at a time when black sharecroppers were hardly more than slaves. But even raised in that world, you understood the injustice of it. The time for racial discrimination is over, you said in your gubernatorial inauguration in 1971. Your audience audibly gasped, but for the rest of your political career, you worked to even the playing field for black Americans. As president, you saw all the ways government could improve the lives of Americans. You appointed more women and attorneys of color to the federal bench than all the earliest presidents combined. You pardoned Vietnam War draft dodgers. You brokered an unlikely peace deal in the Middle East. And when it was time to leave Washington, you went home to Plains. I hope you know what it means to white Southerners like me then and now to have had your example at a time when there were vanishingly few role models among white Southerners, or what it means to white Christians like me then and now to have had your example of what living by the Gospels really mean. That interview with the Playboy in which you confessed to the sin of lust. I've committed adultery in my heart many times, nearly cost you the 1976 election, but it was the admission of a good man who gives serious consideration to the moral and the ethical requirements of his faith, so different from a later president who bragged that he could grab any woman he cared to because when you are a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.